Hello and welcome back to another part of the series of the marriage document. Today we're going over the home government. And just before we begin, as you can see here in this video, it's already at ×2, but you see the mouse and your like button, hovered over the video, and on the bottom right you see the gear. Click the gear, click playback speed, scroll down and click ×2. Makes the video go by faster, and the purpose of this is that I am pretty slow of speech at times and we have some pauses, so to make listening to me more bearable, I'd advise you to play around with the speed settings. You'll still be able to understand what I'm saying, so yeah, continuing on. The guiding principle for parents. Many in the world have their affections on things that be good in themselves, but their minds are satisfied with these things and do not seek the greater and higher good that Christ desires to give them. So basically, people see something, but they don't see the bigger picture of the purpose of the thing. So the small things that they keep their mind on instead of the bigger picture. Anyway, now we must not rudely seek to deprive them of what they hold dear. Reveal to them the beauty and preciousness of truth. Lead them to behold Christ and his loveliness. Then they will turn aside from everything that will draw their affections away from him. This is the principle upon which parents should work in the training of their children. By your manner of dealing with the little ones, you can, by the grace of Christ, mold their characters for everlasting life. Fathers and mothers should make it their life study that their children may become as nearly perfect in character as human effort, combined with divine aid, can make them. This work, with all its importance and responsibility, they have accepted in that they have brought children into the world. And the promise that comes to mind when it comes to this is from Philippians, where it says, I can do all things through Christ, which strengtheneth me. Continuing on. Rules necessary for government in the home. Every Christian home should have rules, and parents should, in their words and in their deportment toward each other, give the children a precious living example of what they desire them to be. Teach the children and youth to respect themselves, to be true to God, to be true to principle. Teach them to respect and obey the law of God. Then these principles will control their lives and will be carried out in their association with others. So a quick picture of what this example looks like. So parents would like their children to come up to respect the mother and respect the father, right? And as we read earlier, how would the children learn to do this? They need to constantly watch the parents respect each other. The husband constantly respecting the wife, and the wife constantly respecting and loving the husband. Both showing each other love and respect. The children, seeing that, will reflect those characters. Remember, as a child, they don't understand the language, they don't speak the language immediately. But as time progresses, they'll then start to speak your language, right? It takes time for them to grow up into these things. But they have to witness and be around this type of thing first for them to, grow up into this, right? So if you want your children to learn how to be good to their neighbors, well, how do they often see their parents interact with their neighbors, right? The characteristics you want your children to have, the parents are the number one main source of who they are to get that from, right? This is one of the main issues, and why I believe, and there's a whole teaching on this, but this is for another time, and maybe I should put it into the children bonus section. But this is why I believe that homeschooling is way more important than bringing them to some random worldly school where literally anybody around them will literally teach the exact opposite things that you would want them to learn. Like, if you do not want to be in a house with a potential murderer, a potential thief, a potential badmouther, and someone who speaks bad back to their parents, then obviously one of the main places you don't want them to be is in other schools where there's worldly children who likely have worldly parents, where they are likely enacting those worldly traits from their parents and end up bringing it onto your own child. That, I don't know if that's like a controversial like topic though for like homeschooling rather than bringing them into other schools, because people might say, oh, but we need to be social creatures. Well, number one, obviously that's true, but that's why we have churches that we go to where we associate with each other with other like-minded believers, right? And number two, we don't want to risk those evil tendencies of others being put onto our own children. So even though we should be social, we should be smart about how can we have our children to be social creatures without inviting the world into their into their behavior and all that. You get the point. Now then, continuing on. Bible principles to be followed. There is need for constant watching that the principles which lie at the foundation of family government are not disregarded. The Lord designs that the families on earth shall be symbols of the family in heaven. And when earthly families are conducted in right lines, the same sanctification of the Spirit will be brought into the church. Parents should themselves be converted and know what it is to be in submission to God's will, as little children, bringing into captivity their thoughts to the will of Jesus Christ, before they can rightly represent the government that God designed should exist in the family. God Himself established the family relations. His word is the only safe guide in the management of children. Human philosophy has not discovered more than God knows or devised a wiser plan of dealing with children than that given by our Lord, who can better understand all the needs of children than their Creator, who can feel a deeper interest in their welfare than He who bought them with His own blood. If the Word of God were carefully studied and faithfully obeyed, there would be less soul anguish over the perverse conduct of wicked children. Respect the children's rights. Remember that children have rights which must be respected. Children have claims which their parents should acknowledge and respect. They have a right to such an education and training as will make them useful, respected, and beloved members of society here, and give them a moral fitness for the society of the pure and holy hereafter. The young should be taught that both their present and their future well-being depend on a great degree on the habits they form in childhood and youth. They should be early accustomed to submission, self-denial, and a regard for others' happiness. They should be taught to subdue the hasty temper, to withhold the passionate word, to manifest unvarying kindness, courtesy, and self-control. To a parent deluded by blind affection. Blind affection, a cheap manifestation of love, goes a long ways with you. To encircle the arms about the neck is easy, but manifestations should not be encouraged by you unless they are proved to be of real value by perfect obedience. Your indulgence, your disregard of God's requirements is the veriest cruelty. You encourage and excuse disobedience by saying, quote, "My boy loves me," end quote. Such love is cheap and deceptive. It is no love at all. The genuine love to be cultivated in the family is of value because it is verified by obedience. If you love the souls of your children, bring them into order. But abundant kisses and tokens of love blind your eyes, and your children know it. Make less of these outward demonstrations of embracing and kissing, and go down to the bottom of things and show what constitutes filial love. Refuse these manifestations as a fraud, a deception, unless backed up by obedience and respect for your commands. Manifest neither blind affection nor undue severity. While we are not to indulge blind affection, neither are we to manifest undue severity. Children cannot be brought to the Lord by force. They can be led, but not driven. Quote, "My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me," end quote. Christ declares. He did not say, "My sheep hear my voice and are forced into the path of disobedience." In the government of children, love must be shown. Never should parents cause their children pain by harshness or unreasonable exactions. Harshness drives souls into Satan's net. The combined influence of authority and love will make it possible to hold firmly and kindly the reins of family government. An eye single to the glory of God and to what our children owe Him will keep us from looseness and from sanctioning evil. Harshness not requisite to obedience. Let none imagine that harshness and severity are necessary to secure obedience. What's another word for this? The harshness and severity are necessary. What's another word for this that's used in this day? Necessary evil, or true, or what's the other one called? It's tough love. That's the one. Tough love. That's another word to describe this. I have seen the most efficient family government maintained without a harsh word or look. I have been in other families where commands were constantly given in an authoritative tone, and harsh rebukes and severe punishments were often administered. A quick thing to note when I say tough love. Many people will say, "Oh, we can't do tough love. Does that mean we shouldn't discipline our children?" No. But when people talk about tough love, they mean discipline in the harshest ways. That is not according to biblical teaching. It's basically their worldly way of trying their best to control a situation in ungodly ways. My wording isn't good here, but maybe you get the point. Anyway, continuing on. In the first case, the children followed the course pursued by the parents and seldom spoke to one another in harsh tones. In the second, also, the parental example was imitated by the children, and crosswords, fault findings, and disputes were heard from morning till night. I mean, that is definitely true, because I lived that experience. Anyway, words that intimidate, creating fear and expelling love from the soul, are to be restrained, and a wise, tender, God-fearing father will bring not a lavish fear. A wise, tender, God-fearing father will bring not a slavish fear, but an element of love into the home. If we drink of the water of life, the fountain will send forth sweet water, not bitter. Harsh words sour and the temper and wound the hearts of children, and in some cases, these wounds are difficult to heal. Children are sensitive to the least injustice, and some become discouraged under it and will neither heed the loud, angry voice of command nor care for threatenings of punishment. There is a danger of too severely criticizing small things. Criticism that is too severe, rules that are too rigid, lead to the disregard of all regulations. And by, children thus educated will show the same disrespect for the laws of Christ. Uniform firmness and unimpassioned control necessary. Children have sensitive, loving natures. They are easily pleased and easily made unhappy. By gentle discipline in loving words and acts, mothers may bind their children to their hearts. To manifest severity and to be exacting with children are great mistakes. Uniform firmness and unimpassioned control are necessary to the discipline of every family. Say what you mean calmly, move with consideration, and carry out what you say without deviation. And severity means acuteness, gravity, strength, danger, power, violence, extremity, hardness, coldness, strictness, rigor, ruthlessness, brutality, inhumanity, cruelty, savagery, etc. Okay? And deviation means the action of departing from an established course or accepted standard. It will pay to manifest affection in your association with your children. Do not repel them by a lack of sympathy in their childish sports, joys, and griefs. Never let a frown gather upon your brow, or a harsh word escape your lips. God writes all these words in his book of records. Restraint and caution not enough. Dear brethren, as a church, you have sadly neglected your duty toward the children and youth. While rules and restrictions are laid upon them, great care should be taken to show them the Christ-like side of your character, and not the satanic side. Children need constant watch care and tender love. Bind them to your heart and keep the love as well as the fear of God before them. Fathers and mothers do not control their own spirit and therefore are not fit to govern others. To restrain and caution your children is not all that is required. You have yet to learn to do justly and love mercy, as well as to walk humbly with God. Counsel to the mother of a strong-willed child. Your child is not your own. You cannot do with her as you like, for she is the property of the Lord. Exercise a steady, persevering control over her. Teach her that she belongs to God. With such a training, she will grow up to a blessing to those. She will grow up to be a blessing to those around her. But clear, sharp discernment will be necessary in order that you may repress her inclination to rule you both, to have her own will and way, and do as she pleases. Even steady management. I have seen many families shipwrecked through overmanagement on the part of their head, whereas through consultation and agreement, all might have moved off harmoniously and well. Unsteadiness in family government is productive of great harm. In fact, is nearly as bad as no government at all. The question is often asked, why are the children of religious parents so often headstrong, defiant, and rebellious? The reason is to be found in the home training. Too often the parents are not united in their family government, a fitful government. At one time holding the lines firmly, and at another allowing that which has been condemned, is ruination to a child. Mutual law for parents and children. God is our lawgiver and king. Parents are to place themselves under his rule. This rule forbids all oppression from parents and all disobedience from children. The Lord is full of loving kindness, mercy, and truth. His law is holy, just, and good, and must be obeyed by parents and children. The rules which should regulate the lives of parents and children flow from a heart of infinite love. And God's rich blessing will rest upon those parents who administer his law in their homes, and upon the children who obey this law. The combined influence of mercy and justice is to be felt. Quote, mercy and truth are met together. Righteousness and peace have kissed each other. End quote. Households under this discipline will walk in the way of the Lord to do justice and judgment. And this is where the chapter ends, and I'll see you guys in the next one. By God's grace. See you later.